It's a washing business.
All right, so I had some really cool personal experience, some things that is going to inspire this today. You know, there's no better test of your faith and where you're at than when some really bad things happen in your life where you start to feel like you're either struggling with something really, really hard or you feel like things are kind of falling apart for you. And you guys remember when I said last week at my house, I think it was last week, when I was talking about that thing I like to call Christitude, where Christians like to put on this mask of everything's good and fine, honky dory. And that one thing, unfortunately, that a lot of believers, a lot of Christians do, not all, but a lot, and I know that you guys have unfortunately been subject to this. I know with certain churches you two have been to, especially, one in particular we won't name, is this thing of being held to this, I'm going to say this image where you have to live, act, walk, and talk in a very certain way. And if you say or you do anything within a lot of these Christian bodies that causes a monkey wrench to get thrown into how they comfortably do things, a lot of times you get met with some rather unhealthy reaction, let's just say. Me and my family, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this as well, being that you walk in the same truth and you would use the same proper terms and sacred terms. A lot of times I found that with me and my family, when we're around people who don't have faith and they hear us talk about our faith the way we do, for the most part, they handle it pretty cool. They don't understand, but they don't really have a reaction. But what I've found is when you're around Christians a lot of times and you start saying things that they don't understand or they're not aware of, they're not comfortable with, you get very different reactions. Sometimes if you're fortunate, kind of like with this one young lady that I spoke to a couple weeks ago, she's very routine, very standard, and she just didn't really have a lot to say in response to how the words we use, how we talk about our faith. And then there's some people that you'll meet some pretty heavy resistance for how you believe and the things you say and how we walk our faith. And I've said this a lot. I've said this many, 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 many times over. I'm gonna stand up. I've said this many, many, many times over that we can talk and have a philosophical debate with people all day long about our faith and our beliefs, but that is pointless because words will not win anybody over. Words are literally overused today. In fact, people talk way too much. Whether it's religion or whether it's politics, everybody today is used to talking a lot and acting very, very little. Nobody wants to talk and actually take action. People just want to talk and say pretty words. So, with that being said, what I have found, especially with some very recent things that have happened with me, with some interaction I've had with people close to me even, is that if you wait it out, what happens in our life, the things that occur in our life, and the things that will occur in their life, is going to show a stark contrast in the kind of faith that you have versus the faith they have. And you're going to see with the things that happen to them versus the things that happen in your life, you are going to see just who is walking in the right path. I said this in a video from yesterday and I posted it. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch it yet. I recorded it at my house, but it was on basically knowing people by their fruits, which is kind of like that parable Joshua told about a bad tree can't bear good fruit. Likewise, a good tree can't bear bad fruit. Basically, that means that a person cannot go against their natural tendency. However a person naturally is, they're going to bear in action what they're really like. They can talk and they can hide things about themselves and they can try to speak with pretty words all day long, but they are not going to be able to hide who they really are in their actions. And the same thing most especially is true with your faith. I have found more times than not, it seems like, with a lot of the very routine believers and Christians I have met, that when they go through something really, truly hard and terrible in their life, something that just talking with pretty words about, well, I'm going to pray about it, or, well, scripture says I'm going to handle it this way or that way. But when they go through something really, truly horrible that rocks their world to the foundations, you start to see them crumble. And all their words, the pretty words, start to just dissipate into the ether. Specifically speaking, you will notice and you will see that anybody who is going to look at you and they're ever going to say to you, well, you have a weird faith. You walk and you practice a really weird faith. I've never heard anybody practice the faith the way that you do. And they're going to look at you and they're going to want some kind of proof. Save your words and don't fear what you say or think that it's your words that's going to change or convince anybody that the way that we walk our faith is right and true and good. Because your words aren't going to do it. It's going to be your action. I have seen that when you start going through something really, really hard, in those moments, all your pretty faith words and faith talk will go right out the window real fast and in a hurry. And the only thing that is truly going to give you strength to get through what you're going through, and not just what you're going through, but it could, stress and problems come in a multitude of different ways. And sometimes you may not really be going through something bad yourself. You might just be very heavily stressed. And if you're very heavily stressed, then whatever is stressing you is going to be causing you serious problems. So you don't just have to be going through something physical or something yourself. It could literally just be stress from your life going on around you. Something I have seen that is an undeniable fact is that when you are truly walking in Father's truth, and you've got Him 100%, and His Ruach, His Spirit, really lives inside of you, that when you're going through something fierce and intense, it is going to be His power and His Ruach, His living essence inside of you, that in those times when your pretty words are failing you, His true essence inside of you is what's going to rise up in you in a way you can't even explain, and it's going to get you through what you're going through in victory. You're not going to have the words to speak. You're not going to have the words to say. In all actuality, you may not even know sometimes how to talk to Him properly because of just everything going on. But you're going to know that what you're doing and the path you're walking is really the right one, because the presence of Him that lives and abides in you is going to rise up. Because if you belong to Him, He's not going to let you fall or shame Him. So if you really belong to Him and His Ruach, His presence lives inside of you, He's not going to allow you to fall or allow you to crumble or allow you to not represent Him properly, because your very existence is meant to glorify Him. If you're His child and He lives inside of you, He's got a personal stake in you. So when you start to really go through something crappy and hard and your pretty words are failing, He is literally going to take over and take control. His power is going to rise up in you, and one way or another, even when you don't realize how, you're going to get through it. And you're going to find yourself standing on the other side saying, I don't know how I got through that, but somehow I did. And that's going to be the proof that it was Father's power inside of you, His truth at work in you, that gave you the strength and gave you the willpower to get through what you're going through. That is the difference, the glaring difference between you and anybody else around you. Anybody out here of a so-called faith, what I like to call Kano faith, Christian and name-only faith. These people who like to speak pretty words, the glaring difference between you and them is going to be when the rubber meets the road and you're both going through something that involves a lot of suffering, a lot of hardship, and a lot of pain. And believe you me, you may be right now going through some stuff that's hard. You may be going through some things right now that are making you feel bad. You might have moments where you feel disappointed in yourself and feel ashamed because of how you've been handling stuff. You may be struggling with personal problems right now that you know you have to get over, but let me tell you, I have seen personally firsthand with my own two eyes what it looks like, a so-called believer or Christian who literally gives up and starts to lose their mind and starts to literally degrade and fall apart. Trust me when I tell you, you are going to know if you get to a point where you are literally starting to fall apart, Because here's the thing, people don't understand. When you don't truly have Father's Ruach, his essence, living inside of you, then when things get real hard, and you might live your whole life with a very weak faith, Christian faith, but at some point when you go through something that will bring you to your knees, here is where the degradation is going to start. Not here. It's going to start here. Your mind's going to start breaking down. Because this is the most important thing. This is not nearly as important as this. And that is going to be the first thing that's going to start to go on you, is your mind, your mental well-being. You're literally going to start to, in every decision you make, how you deal with people, how you talk to people, you are literally going to start breaking down mentally. So if you're at a point right now where you're just struggling with stuff, or maybe you have moments where you're disappointed in yourself because of how you've handled something, or you're struggling with something, as long as you are not literally losing your ever-living mind and your marbles, and you're out here and you are being mean and nasty to other people, and you're making harebrained, asinine decisions and choices, and literally people look at you, and maybe somebody actually literally says to you, why did you do this? What is something wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with your head? I can say myself from experience, when your mind is still good, you know your mind's good. Everything else may be going bad. You may be battling with something physically, but if your mind is good and strong, if your mind's not breaking down, you know your mind's not breaking down. It's a feeling. It's a feeling we have in our head, right? If your mind's good, if you're not breaking down mentally, we know it. We can feel it. We can think clearly. We can act clearly. We can act logically. But when our mind is literally starting to go, you can feel it. It's a slippery slope. It's impossible to miss. And here's something for you guys, just like for me, is incredibly important. There is a lot of darkness and a lot of bad going on around us, and not just in the world, but with the people that we know. Most people that we all know, the people in our lives, people we work with, our friends and our family, let's just be honest, most of the people we know right now has got some serious things going on wrong with them mentally in their head. A lot of people got mental issues right now. That thing I just said about your mind starting to go, there are a lot of people right now, I know a lot of people, I know you guys do too, who have a lot of mental issues. A lot of problems. And I don't just mean crazy, fly off the handle crazy, but just they're losing their ability to deal. They're losing their capacity to handle things. They're literally, it's like they're people in our lives right now, in this world right now, are starting to break down mentally. It's like the mental strength of humans, of people, is starting to degrade. And I know we see that. We all see that. If you want to be any kind of help to anybody you know, then let me tell you something that is unfathomably important. Who you are in Father, His presence that abides in you and burns out of you, that shines in you. You cannot fear anybody outside of your home. How they act, their own faith, their negativity, whatever bad things that are on them. We cannot fear being around them because of the spirit that's on them. Look, I know there's a lot of people that we're around a lot of times that we don't want to be around. There are people that we know in our life that they're either a leech on us, they pull us down, they're negative, they have a darkness on them, they are, you're around them for a couple minutes or a couple hours and you want to pull your hair out. We all know what that's like. All of us. But you cannot let the worm, put fear on you and make you not want to go outside of your home and go and be around people, go be around your friends or your family because you fear the dark essence or the spirit that's on them. Because the spirit that's on you is far more powerful than anything, any darkness that's on anybody you go around. No darkness on anybody and no bad spirit on anybody can overwhelm yours. What it does is it makes you afraid to be around other people. It makes you nervous. It makes you timid. So when you're around other people, it tries to mute the light and the presence of Father that comes off of you and out of you. It wants to mute it. It wants to suffocate the good light that's on you. It wants to mute the presence of Father on you so you can't shine it out on other people around you and you can't make a difference in their life. That is the whole game, the strategy it has when you go and you're around anybody. And it knows, it is strategic. The worm is strategic. It knows the people in our life that drive us the craziest. And it's going to use those people, specifically those people, to try to mute the light that's on us and shines out of us. But here's the technique. When you are dealing with anybody, I don't care who they are, you need to start realizing something. You need to stop looking at the flesh and the blood and the bone. When you look at somebody who's causing you issue and troubles and stress in your life, you have to stop looking at them as the person doing it. You literally need to see with your spiritual eyes that the what is causing that person to be the way they are is not that person. They literally have a demon living on them, wrapped around them, or maybe even living inside of them, depending on their spiritual state, that is literally speaking to you through their lips and causing you pain through their actions. It is an actual physical demon. It's not them. It's not the person you love or you care about speaking to you. It's not the person that you love or care about is hurting you. It is literally a demon controlling them that is using them as a puppet to speak to you and to affect you. Literally a demon. If you don't believe me, my mother is a very powerful prophetess, and she's got the spiritual sight. She has the gift to be able to see things in the spiritual realm. My mother has literally seen people she knows, people she cares about, strangers. She has literally been able to see before when people are being nasty, when people are speaking and doing things and saying things that are just wrong and just rude, unthinkable. She has literally been able to see at times a literal spiritual glimpse of the demons that are on them. She has literally seen demons over people's shoulder, whispering into their ear. She has seen the demonic oppression on people. If you ever, and I want you to do this next time you're around one of these people in your life that gives you a lot of hard problems and hardship, I want you to look at their face for a moment. When they are being really nasty and they're being really hurtful, look at their face. If you look at their face, you're going to notice something. When someone like me, for instance, when I'm talking, I have good color in my face, right? You see color in my face. When a demon is on somebody, either oppressing somebody, most especially, possession, yes, definitely. But even if a demon is oppressing somebody, you will literally see it in their face. All color is going to drain from that person's face. When they are being demonically oppressed, either they're being negative, they're being hurtful, they're being angry, they're being pessimistic. I don't care what it is. You're literally going to be able to see the color fade from their face. They're literally going to look gray and ashen in the face. Literally, you're going to see all color melt from their facial complexion. If you pay attention, and the worm tries to literally block our eyes so we don't see it, but when somebody is literally just being hurtful, being nasty, and you look at them, really look at their face, you will be able to see the demon on them with your physical waking eyes because their face will be drawn and ashen like death. But if you notice them later at another time, maybe they're in a little better mood, maybe if they're not being nasty, you're going to notice they're going to have more color in their face. When demonic oppression comes on somebody, you're going to see it. It is unmistakable. And I challenge you next time, when you're around anybody like this, look at their face. Study their face. You're going to see it. It's impossible not to see. The only way you are going to be able to stand with the strength and this resolve and the ruach, the Spirit of Father in this world, is when you go out, you leave your home, and you walk out here and you deal with people, you've got to face each one of them with unbreakable courage and conviction. You cannot let them cow you. You cannot let them bring you down. You can't let their negative words tear you down because they've got no power over you. Look, you ever heard that old adage, sticks and stones may break my bones, your words will never hurt me? Isn't that amazing how, as kids, we say that, or our parents will teach us that when we're kids, but when we get older, we completely forget that, and adults are ready to go to war over something as simple as a word? No word can hurt us. It might hurt our feelings, but no word can physically hurt us. And no word is going to take money out of our pocket. It mind rapes us. And when we're around somebody, anybody, strangers, you might go out to town and go out to a store, or you might go to a restaurant, and the person you have to deal with, they got a demon on them. They're being nasty to you. Maybe you call somebody on the phone to help you with something. They're being unhelpful. They're being nasty. They don't want to help you. That's a demon on them. You might, again, you go out and you deal with somebody out in public at a store somewhere, and they're not being helpful. They're being nasty and unfriendly, almost unreasonably so. They got a demon on them. So whether it's people we don't know, whether it's strangers, or especially if it's friends and family, it is not the people doing it to us. It's demons doing it to us. It's demons trying to cow us and make us afraid, trying to bring us down with their filth and their negativity and mute the light that is on us. But let me tell you, when you let, regardless of what they say, regardless of how they act, when you instead let Father's light and his positivity come out of you, and to every word they say, every bad, negative, hurtful thing they say, you let something good come out of your lips and out of your mouth. You're going to see them shut their mouth, shut up, and not say another word, or eventually they're going to get so frustrated they're going to walk away from you. Because the demons of it, the servants of darkness, cannot stand in the light of Father. And when you let his light and his positivity and his power shine out of you, it is like a white hot fire. And they cannot stand in its presence. They cannot. And that is why you feel so heavily beleaguered, so heavily attacked and oppressed anytime you leave this home and you go to deal with anybody. That's why you feel so often like, oh my gosh, man, this person's so negative, man, they're so hard to deal with. Oh my gosh, man. It's trying to make you feel like you're weak, like you got no strength to stand. And it's a lie. It is a bold-faced lie. If you, having the true rock and the true essence of Father, are not going to go out and the people in this world and take a stand and let his light shine out of you. And it's easy to let it shine out of you because if you realize that their words can't hurt you, nothing they do can hurt you. They can be as hurtful. They can look right at you and call you I'm not going to say the words. They could call you nasty, horrible things. But if you realize this is literally how you let Father's light shine out of you. You realize your words can't hurt me. You can't do nothing to me. You literally cannot physically hurt me with your words. And I don't care what you think of me, whether it's a friend, family. If you say, I don't care what you think of me. I don't care if you're calling me every bad name in the book. I don't care if you're treating me like crap. Because I know to my Father above, who means more than anything, I am priceless and I'm a treasure in his eyes. And he is very proud of me. And that's all that matters. You can look at anybody who is reaming you over the coals and talking to you like a dog. You can look at them and you can smile in their face. Smile at them and be positive. If you know and realize in those times that their opinion of you means trash, less than trash, because the only being who matters, the only one, your Father, Yahweh Elohim, he loves you and you are priceless, pricelessly valued and precious in his eyes. Therefore, who gives a crap what other people think about us? Even our family. Look, I know what it's like to have family that look at you like a freak and think you're crazy and think you're nuts because of how you believe. I know what it's like. And I also know what it's like to finally say, I don't give a crap what you think about me. Because I know my Father above is proud of me and that's all that matters. And when you realize that, and you stop trying to people please, you stop trying to appease friends and appease family and trying to make them like you and make them talk highly of you, you stop trying to bow to them to get their approval, and instead you realize, hey, I got the approval of the only one that matters. And if I got the approval of the only one that matters, I got all the reason in the world to smile and be happy. You are going to cripple the darkness on those people. And one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to leave you the heck alone, because they're going to hate. They're going to start looking at you as, man, they're so positive and they smile all the time. They're so happy, man. I hate being around those people. I hate it. Because it's not going to be that fake Christitude kind of happiness. They're going to sense a peace and a happiness and a joy on you that they're going to hate because they're not willing to do what it takes to get it themselves. They're going to hate you for it. And they're either going to leave you alone and then you're going to win regardless, or you'll win more. It's going to start changing them. But if you and me let the darkness on them and the way they act and the ways they talk and the things they do and say affect us and bring us down, we're worthless. Not only are we worthless to him, but we're not making things any better for ourselves. If we let negativity, bitterness on them affect us and pull us down for no reason, we're literally letting ourselves get deeper and deeper into a hole. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's no point in it. There's no reason in it. It's utterly pointless. And trust me, I'm not speaking from the dais. I'm speaking from the pulpit. Trust me when I say, anybody around you can call you a freak for how you believe, say you're wrong for how you believe. They can be nasty to you, be horrible to you. But if you let Father's light shine out of you, if you let his light shine brighter than the darkness, eventually they're going to see the power and the proof of what is on you radiating off of you. They're going to see it. It's impossible to deny it. Even if they don't want to admit it, they're going to see it. But if you let yourself fall to the pit of negativity and depression, if you let their filth get on you, it is literally no different than inviting the demon that's on them to jump on you and rape you. It's no different. When we hate how nasty and negative people are that we meet in our life, family or friends, whoever it is, if we hate how they act, but yet we let their filth rub off on us, then what's funny is we are literally inviting the same darkness that is on them to come and just blanket us like a cloak. Isn't that funny? And it's very, very easy, especially when, look, I know I'm young, but I'm going to say it like it is, especially when you start to get older. Especially when you've lived a long time, you've been through a lot of crap with a lot of people, a lot of pain, a lot of crap. It's easy to give up. It's easy to say, I can't do better. I'm past the point where I can keep trying. I'm past the point I can be positive. I'm past the point I can be optimistic. When people get old, older people have such an ability to be bright, shining lights for Father. Older people can be some of the most powerful weapons for him to use because they have experience, they have wisdom, they've seen a lot of things in life, but the worm attacks the older people just as hard as it does the youngest people. Because if it can make an older person or an old person feel old, negative, defeated, like they just don't have anything left to give, then it takes all of the wisdom, the life experience, and all the promise that they have, and it steals it from them. Literally, it steals it. Robs you. Then you're literally no good. You're no good to yourself. You're no good to the world around you. How can we sit around and complain about the state of the world if the older people who have wisdom and knowledge and experience to share lets it make them so dark in their heart, so negative, so bitter, so tired, they're not willing to share the light and share the goodness in them with other people to help make a difference on the younger generation? Yet again, it's a self-fulfilling, self-defeating prophecy. I've said this before, and I'll say it again and again and again. If we can stop looking at everything that happens in our life and everybody we deal with through a sheerly physical lens, and instead start looking at it for what it all is, if we can start looking at things through a spiritual lens and realizing that everything that happens to us every single day is literally part of the spiritual battle that we're embroiled in, you are going to have much more success in being victorious every single day of your life. Whether it's in your health, whether it's in your mind, whether it's with negativity, whether it's with people in your life, you are going to start having much better success. It's standing against the darkness in this world that you come across every single day. That if you stop looking at things as, well, this person's just a jerk, or well, yeah, life just sucks. Oh, well, I'm not surprised this happened. Oh, if you stop doing that, and you start looking at things through a spiritual lens, you're going to be more apt and better prepared to face everything that comes your way. I had a grandfather once who used to look at everything through a negative lens. He looked at everything physically. He looked at everything as the world was just screwing him over. He didn't know how, and the church he went to failed him. He didn't know how to look at things through a spiritual lens. If he had looked at every problem in his life through a spiritual lens, he would have been a much better man. He would have been a much wiser man. And he also would have, most very likely, probably, he might still be alive today. But he let the physical things in this world, he let the attacks that the worm leveled against him every day of his life, He was shielded from the true cause of it. He blamed the world for it. He blamed everybody for it and everything for it. And because of that, and there are some people that I know who know this man, because he let those things, he let it attack him every day of his life and deceive him into thinking it was just people in the world screwing him over. He literally had everything taken from him, and then he died. Now, I have looked at his example many times over my young life, and his story is a large part of what makes me get up every day and look at everything that happens to me in my life through a spiritual lens. Because if not, then I will start looking at things that go wrong in my life, and I'll start saying, well, the world's just unfair. Well, this person's just hurtful. This person's just mean. This person doesn't love me. This person doesn't care about me. Why am I so cursed? Why do I have bad luck? Why does the world hate me? Why does he hate me? Eventually, you even start blaming him. It's ironic that the people in our life that drive us the craziest, and we look at them and they drive us so nuts, and we'll say, I'm never going to become you. If we don't look at the reason why they are how they are, the spiritual things that led them where they are, we're going to become them regardless. Because if you don't realize you're being spiritually attacked every day, you're going to start being infected by negativity, pessimism, bitterness. You're going to start using those words. It's unfair. It's not right. You're going to start complaining more than usual. You're going to start belly aching more than usual. And all that eventually cascades down into an avalanche. All of it is going to spiral. I routinely, and you need to do this yourself, you need to look at the people either alive in your life right now who is the very example of something you never want to be. Or think about people who are gone, who have died, who were something you did not want to become. And you need to think about those people every single day and look in the mirror and look long and look hard. And realize that they are what they are and they became what they became because it spiritually raped them every day of their life and kept them blind to it to where they didn't even realize it. It's literally no different than a rapist blindfolding a woman and raping her, and she can't see a rapist and then pick him out in a lineup. It's no different than that. That is what it endeavors to do to all of us, is to spiritually blind us to where every day we cannot see what's being done to us. We can't see where the real attacks are coming from. We can't see why that person's really being negative and hurtful to us. We can't really see why that this bad thing happened today or that bad thing happened today. It tries to blind us each and every day to where we can't see those things, so that it can spiritually infect us and make us more and more and more sick. It is literally, when it sticks its appendage inside of us, it is injecting darkness and wickedness and negativity into us in the form of an inky blackness. And it literally builds up inside of us over days, weeks, months, and years, until eventually we become so full of that filth and that crap inside of us, that dark filth, that we become consumed with it. And unlike getting a stomach virus and being able to throw up and get the black, nasty crap out of your stomach when you got a bug, when it infects you with spiritual thick blackness and tar and sludge, you can't just vomit it up. You can't just go to the bathroom. Only Father then can get that stuff out. And let me tell you, when you get that far gone and you become that nasty and that negative in your life, it literally is akin to Father sticking a tube and literally cutting a hole inside of your stomach, like a woman gets a C-section, sticking a tube inside of you and him forcibly draining that crap out of you. And trust me, when Father has to forcibly drain the evil and the filth and the disgust out of you after years of letting it build up, usually it comes in the form of you having to go through some serious sufferings first, to humble you and get you to the point where you're willing to accept, I need to change. I need to let this negativity and this bitterness go. I need to let this crap go. Because I don't want to get his tube stuck in my gut and have it pumped out. Because if I know that I push him to that point, I'm going to have to suffer big time to get that filth out of me. Trust me. Trust me. You don't want to get to that point. I know a man right now who's there. I know a man right now who's at the point where, in order for Father to humble him and bring him to a point where he can truly repent and find the true light in his life again, he would have to literally, even as far as he's been humbled, he would have to have something cataclysmically horrible happen to him at this point, and I don't even want to think about what that would be. I understand, and I get being human, it's easy for us to pity ourselves. It's easy for us to feel like we're justified to be negative and be upset and complain about things and the people in our life. Look, we're human, and I know that's easy to do. It's easy to vent. But let me ask you a very pointed question. When we vent, does it make us feel better? Does it make it feel, does it change anything? When we bellyache, and it's just like people watch the news all the time. And people watch the news all the time, they're saying, oh man, this is happening, that's happening. Are they in politics? Can they stop what's going on? And they're not going to vote and change it. Voting's not going to work. So people that sit there and watch the news all day long. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. What are they going to do? They can't do anything. People can't change the world. Yahweh is the only one that can change the world. Only one. In every way, social media, the people in our life, the news, the worm, Satan, has literally wrapped a web of negativity and pessimism and worry around this entire world that everybody is trapped in and they don't even realize it. It is spoon-feeding everybody negativity and pessimism every single day, and they don't even realize it, and they're opening their mouth wide, and they're letting him feed them like a baby. When you go on social media and you're following all the bad stories and everybody's drama, you're being spoon-fed its crap. When you go and you turn on the news and you watch the news and you watch all the bad things happening, you're opening your mouth and you're letting it spoon-feed you negativity and crap. You know what Father says to people, his true, if somebody calls him their father, somebody who has the gall and or they truly believe they are his child. Anybody who says, oh, I'm a child of Yah, or I'm a believer, and they sit around, they watch the news, and they worry about it. You know what Father says to those people? He says, do you not trust me? Do you not truly believe I am the big, almighty Elohim? Do you not believe I hold everything in the palm of my hand? If you truly believed I held everything in the palm of my hand, why are you worried of what you're seeing on your TV screen? Nothing happens is not part of my will, and I've got everything in my hand. If you truly trust me, turn your TV off, turn your social media off, stop listening to all your negative Nancy's out here, your gas stations or your family gatherings, just sitting around belly aching at the table because they have nothing better to do. He says, stop listening to their filth. Plug your ears and listen to me. Because I'm going to whisper to you words of comfort, words of assurance, and simple, I've got this. Trust me. The world is too big for you. All this is too big for you. I've got it. It's no different than when we are a child. When we're little kids, we don't worry about the world. We don't worry about how things are going. Why? Because we trust that mom and dad's got it. We trust that mom and daddy are providing and taking care of everything, or whoever our guardian is. Why is it when we get older, we literally completely revert? Why is it that when we get older, we can't trust our Heavenly Father, who is much greater than our earthly parents, to do the same thing and more? Why? Think about this. Why is it as we get older, we literally take the only true parent we have, who's going to live after our earthly ones are dead? Why can we not take that parent and trust him in the same way? Just as how when you were a little kid, you couldn't control anything that happened in your life, and your parents had to take care of it. We as grown adults can't change or affect anything that goes on in the world around us. We're just as powerless as when we were little kids. Only He can control that stuff. So isn't it weird and paradoxical? It's a silly meaning. It means it's silly that when we get older, we can't just simply let go and trust Him in the same way. It's literally no different than we were kids. None. Absolutely none. No different. It's the same. The worm just tries to tell us and convince us that it's different, but it's not different at all. And what happens when we worry? What happens then when we start to worry about things we can't control? What happens then when we start to let that fear gnaw at our gut? Then we get negative. Then when we get negative, we start to stress. Then when we're negative and we're stressing, guess what happens? Then you start to get sick. You develop diabetes. You develop all kinds of other health issues. You gain weight. You stop sleeping at night. That's the real reason why people die so young today. Because stress literally kills you. And stress is not some weird external thing that just happens. Stress is Satan's attacks at us. Stress is literally what we call his attacks. Stress is literally his bullet, and it is his bow. It's not just a thing. Stress is his attacks in physical form. That's literally what it is. And there's one way alone to guard against it. And that is trusting Father and letting his light that is inside of us shine bright. Because if we don't trust him, if we keep doing what we've been doing, which works real well for us so far, doesn't it? I mean, handling things the way most people do, that works real well. Makes us stressed, makes us sick, makes us negative. If we keep doing what we're doing and we don't let go and trust him, then how is our situation getting any better in our lives? It's not. So if we tell ourselves it's too hard to trust him, ironically, we're actually making things worse on ourselves, because if we choose not to trust him, there's nothing else that we can do to make things better. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. My dad has made a lot of changes, for instance. My father has made a lot of changes. He used to be a very negative man. He used to be well on the way to becoming his own dad. But my dad's changed a lot. Yeah, there was a time he used to say he couldn't change. And I remember I heard him so many times, he would say things like, well, people just can't change. I can't change. I've been this way. But you know, one thing that he does, one thing my dad practices at every day is being better. Trying to be better. He's not afraid to apologize when he's wrong. He's not afraid to admit to Father when he's been wrong. And every day he strives to make Yahweh a little more pleased in him. Do you know? And he doesn't, these changes have happened so subtly, he doesn't even realize it. He does now, because of how different he is. But he literally didn't even realize all those changes as they were happening. He said it was impossible. But what did Yahshua say about the impossible? That all things are possible with Yahweh. And my dad started to change. The impossible happened with him that he said never could. Now, look, my dad came from a negative line. His dad was negative. His biological father was negative. His grandmother was negative. He comes from it. Anybody who says you can't overcome it needs to meet my dad. Now, he still fights. Yeah, he still struggles, still fights. But he does much better than he used to. And every day he gets better. Every day he gets better. He is a far different man now than what he was 2 years ago. And he's over 50 years old. I don't know how many 50-year-olds I know that say, I can't change. That is such bull crap. That is such bull. I've got a grandmother who's 70-some years old. She was unlike a lot of people in this room, she was a very organized Christian most of her life. Do you know at 74 years old, do you know she is using the proper sacred terms and names of Father more commonly and more often now than she ever has? And she's 74 years old. Anybody can change. But see, it tries to make us have this self-defeated mentality that, well, I can't do it. Look, if you tell yourself you can't, if you let those words and those thoughts come through your mind, I can't, man. It's too great. It's too hard. Man, I've been this way for so long. Man, my family's this way. My mom was this way. My dad was this way. If you let that filth come through your mouth, and literally, it is whispering. I want you to envision this. When you're really battling with the negativity and the bitterness, you're really battling with this stuff, whether you're in bed or you're on your couch, you're in your car, literally, there is a demon. And I want you to imagine the most grotesque, gross kind of demon you've ever seen. There's literally a demon right by your ear, whispering with inky black filth dripping from its mouth. It is whispering into your ear saying, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's too hard. It's in your family. You're too far gone. You can't do this. You can't do it. You can't do it. And it manifests in your own thoughts. It's like you're thinking that. It's like you're the one thinking those thoughts, but it's not you. It's it. It's that demon whispering in your mind. Its words are funneled in through your own thoughts. And when you start focusing on that and you start repeating that to yourself, you become that. But when you instead say, no, You got to say it out loud. You can't think, you got to say it out loud. Say, no. I'm not my mom. I'm not my dad. I'm not my grandparents. I'm not the people I know. I'm different. I'm better than this. I'm going to rise up from here. I'm going to be better than this. I'm going to be better at health than they are. I'm going to be mentally stronger than they are. I'm going to be more positive than they are. You say, today, this line ends with me. I'm going to break it with me, here and now. And when you say those words out of your mouth, it holds far more weight than the whisperings that come into your ear, because when you say those words, you are saying them from the conviction and the essence of Father coming up out of your being. And when you speak those words out into existence, you're speaking power over yourself and into the world around you. And you're speaking to those demons and you're saying, I'm not going to let you do this to me. And when you start speaking those words out loud and they know they can't just whisper to you anymore and they can't just say whatever they want to say to you, they start to recoil. Because now they know they can't just tell you whatever they want to tell you and you're going to listen to it and act on it. Fighting negativity and fighting bitterness and fighting the people around us and the negativity in the world, yes, it's hard, but what's the better alternative? Sitting around and just letting the attacks come at us and then literally becoming part of the problem? Because that's what we do. We become part of the problem. You know how bad you feel whenever somebody that you know makes you feel bad. Now, how does it make you feel knowing that if you don't fight that back, that then you go and you speak to and deal with somebody else after that, and you then inflict the same pain on them? Does that make you feel good thinking that? That you've inflicted the same pain on another person? You've let the same negativity and the same bitterness that person affected you with, and you carry it, and you pass it along to the next person, instead of stopping it with positivity and speaking positivity to the next person. How does it make you feel knowing that you pass that on to somebody else now? That should make you feel like crap. I know I have done that, and it has made me feel like crap, and I've realized it. Father could shake this world tomorrow and uproot every government and every evil institution, but the biggest change in our world has got to start with us. It's got to start inside of us. It has to start with our ruach, our spirit, our heart. If we don't let Father's light and love change us, then he can change the world for us all day long. But if we're still nasty inside, we're going to make the world nasty all over again. We have to let the change start here. We have to. There's no question. You don't have a choice. If you don't want to help change the world for the better and be an outlet for positivity, then don't have the gall to go around and say, I'm a child of Yah, I have faith. Because if you have the gall to be part of the problem and not take a stand against this darkness, you're not a true child of Yah. You're a child of darkness, not a child of light. We have got to take a stand. Because otherwise, man, all the pain we feel is just going to keep getting worse. And we're going to add to it. I also know how good it feels when somebody's nasty to you. When it is nasty to you through somebody. And instead, and I know it's hard. Boy, I know it's hard. You feel really because of that. And the next person you deal with, the first thing you want to do is you want to offload. But instead, if you put on a smile and you try to be positive. And let me tell you, when you start trying to be positive, if you just start, it's contagious. If you start trying to be positive, it's going to start coming easier. But it's getting that first word out. It's getting those first couple words out. And once you do that, it's like an avalanche. And then it just starts to come. And then you're almost invested in it. Here's what's cool. If you're dealing then, especially with somebody really negative and really nasty, if you can get that first positive word out, it then becomes like a personal challenge for you, to where then every negative person they say, you want to then, you look forward to the next positive thing you can say, because you almost look at it as like this really enjoyable kind of jabbing way to get back at their negativity. When they say something bad and you say something positive and you see them kind of deflate, it feels good. You literally get this personal sense of gratification in it. It feels good. It's like a little victory. It's like a battle. You literally, it's a battle between good and evil, positive and negative. It feels good. And literally, if you can get them to the point where you're speaking so much positivity, where you're getting them mad, you're making them mad, then you really start to feel like, oh yeah, this feels good. This feels really good. Then you're feeling really good. And one of two things is going to happen. They're either finally going to say, all right, fine. Or some people, you'll start grudgingly getting them to accept some of those good points. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess things could be worse. Well, yeah. And then the victory's better. Because now you might actually start getting them to say a few positive things too. It's addictive. But if we let the negativity meet theirs, then we both feel bad. We both feel like crap. And I know I've been there. I've done that. We've got a powerful light to shine. Powerful light. We got to let it shine. Otherwise, what's the point? We're not supposed to be miserable in life and be filled with bitterness and hate. Life is a gift. Father breathed life into you for a reason. He wants you to be a light for him, to shine, to be beautiful. Don't let it make you feel like this life is just bitter and negative and bad and gross. Because if it makes you feel that way, not only are you going to feel 1,000 times worse, but you have literally spit in the face of your Creator who breathed life into you in the first place. And I could go on and on and on for hours because, like I said, it becomes an addictive high and you just want to keep on doing it. I could go on for hours, but I think I've made my point. And and I know this is a point I've made several times over. And some of the best messages I have found are messages you have to give on repeat again and again and again. Because you know what? Good messages aren't always things that just are, ooh, wow, neat, and something that comes out of left field. Sometimes the best and strongest messages for us to hear are the ones that are the truest. And if a message is really good and true, then you can bet your sweet money it's a message that it is going to try to steal from you every day. So sometimes the best reminder and the best message we can get is that same thing being told to us again and again and again. And sometimes it just serves in bolstering ourselves and giving us a second wind. My hope for you and for you is with every time you hear a message like this, every time you're given the second wind, you last a little longer. You're a little more positive. You let the light shine a little bit more. And when you start to feel a little bit pulled down, when you start to feel like you're coming down, Father's going to give you that reminder again somehow. And then you're going to go at it again. And eventually, you're going to go longer, harder, faster. You're going to be more effective than you were before. So, don't let the people outside, don't let them hide that light in us. Don't let them mute it. We need to let it shine, let it burn. Because not only is that going to be the best service we can render to Father, but it's also going to make us feel better than anything. So, thank you.